I am leaving my husband with our 3 kids for 4 days while I attend a work conference. It's close enough to home, an hour and a half, that I could drive back and forth each day, but the company is paying for a hotel, and well, I'm just done. I have gone the last 8 years doing 90% of everything. We have a blended family, and I am starting to resent my significant other and stepchild. We both work in education and are both often working late. We are both ambitious and have moved up in our positions. However, I make 2.5 times more than he does. I also pay the majority of the bills. He pays 2 of our bills, and I pay for our new car, which he drives, insurance, electric, phones, etc. Most Christmases and birthdays for all of our children rely solely on me and my income. He has spent very little of the last 8 years on gifts for our children. To me, all this is important and adds up. To you, maybe it's a waste of time and not important. Over the course of our relationship, I have earned 2 degrees and am halfway through a second master's. I also have held multiple second jobs to help provide the best I could for our kids. There are days, weeks even, that go by without him touching a dish or folding a pair of jeans. The animals he wanted, I care for. I feel as if I am raising another child. When I ask for help, it isn't received. When I have a full-on panic attack, I get just the slightest effort for the tiniest bit of time. And when I broach the topic of divorce or being at my end, I get replies of depression and how everyone leaves him. But I don't get anything. I feel like I'm drowning. I'm alone in a partnership. I know life isn't always 50-50, but 8 years of 90-10 and no end in sight obliterates my soul to pieces. Am I the idiot? Should I just shut up and stop complaining? Update, wow. I tried to read through as many comments as I could, but truly wasn't even expecting 1 comment, let alone close to 500. I'm not the best writer, so I'll apologize ahead of time. P.S. It's not terribly hard to earn certain master's degrees if you're willing to take in student loans and submit mediocre work. To think having a master's is like some ultimate level of knowledge in which I will always present myself in an academic light is truly hilarious and shows how out of touch you are with the 21st century. I know individuals with doctorates who are dumbasses and people who never graduated high school who are brilliant individuals. Just because someone doesn't conform to the bounds of education doesn't mean they aren't intelligent, and vice versa. Anyway, my original post was written one-sidedly and during the peak of a stressful moment. Not all details were included, and yes, typos occurred. However, based on my perception, the facts and details discussed were accurate. Some of you pegged me perfectly: workaholic, high-functioning, and so on. The ability to work, earn degrees, and raise children all simultaneously can and does happen, often. I live in a rural area where job opportunities and salaries are not great, so I had to educate myself and find the best route for myself. Now, with the way education is going, I am finding myself earning a secondary master's to exit the realm of education if I wish. Some degrees can lock you into a position and are quite useless. Unfortunately, I've discovered this the hard way through naivety and ignorance. Anyways, to provide a few more details to you strangers on the internet. My husband will usually come home and play video games or watch sports. He may entertain the children, but generally stays in his room. I am diagnosed with depression and anxiety and have sought help, medication, etc. So I am fully aware of what mental health issues can do to someone. If low self-esteem was a mental issue, I'm sure I'd be diagnosed with that too. We're working on it. I hear the 30s is where it's at. No, we haven't sought couples therapy, but that will be part of my process upon return. When I say I resent my stepson, I mean that I resent having the responsibilities of being his parent, but none of his voice. I wasn't even put on his pickup form for school, which means I go through a 20-minute process instead of easily going through a line like all the other parents. Every day, every other week, or part of conversations discussing putting him into sports where I'm expected to transport, pay, etc. Having a child but having zero say is very difficult. This issue extends beyond my husband but adds to my stress and is something I will be addressing in my counseling sessions. I feel the need to defend myself regarding my ambition and being present in my kids' lives. If I wasn't present, Why would I even consider driving back home to see them for 2 hours before they went to bed? I have been able to manage my workload around my kids. Did they learn to play with each other well when I had to focus on school, housework, etc.? Yes. Are they more independent? Yes. But I spend time every night with my children and then sacrifice my sleep to complete other tasks. Or sometimes not everything gets done because who has the time? While I may do 90% of the housework, that doesn't mean my house is spotless. In a bid to balance out everything, sometimes laundry does pile up, carpets go unvacuumed, etc. I'm not Cinderella covered in soot every day, but every day I do something around the house to try and keep up. I feel like part of the issue is my husband doesn't take pride in our home, and I don't know how to fix that. I am outside pressure washing because he won't, or calling people to come to mow our grass, fix a hole, and so on. I brought up money because I think it's important to realize how much of our life I feel solely burdened with. He buys games, guns, and other toys, and possibly has a gambling addiction. If he made more than me and I didn't have to worry about bills or budgeting, then I would have more mental capacity for household chores. Or even if he just sat with me and helped budget. But this is a task I do alone. The house is mine, so I won't be leaving him. I bought it before we married. Even with the resentful building and the unhappiness, I don't know if it would be a continuous divorce. I would not leave him high and dry simply because of my son. Our house is big enough for us to separate within it while he finds suitable living elsewhere. And my son would always be allowed to stay at my house. So many said I would lose 2 children, but that is just not true. This boy has been a brother to my daughters for 8 years, and the advice is to cut him out like the dad. No, I would do everything in my power to continue to foster that relationship. I am going to ask for counseling, but also will be trying individually. I have in the past, but will be going back. I will also be filling out divorce papers. While I abhor the idea of making a chore chart for my adult husband, I will try that. I hear you guys. I am partly responsible. I have made him into this. I get that, but now here I am again, solely responsible for fixing it. My kids do chores, but they could do more, so I'll include them too. We both need to communicate more openly and clearly. Me before I am at my wit's end, and him about his mental health. He only brings it up when I want to separate, and I know this is a troubling sign for me. I have promised myself not to bring up divorce again until I am handing him the papers. I will reassess our situation in about a month, and if little to no change has occurred, he will get those papers. We don't share bio children, and I won't have to pay him spousal support, alimony, child support, etc. Conference update. The conference was probably more exhausting than taking care of the man-child. It was great to network, but like many of you noted, the days are long and not many breaks are offered. Some thought I would or wanted to take this as a time to cheat. No. Due to some traumatic fidelity issues in a previous relationship, I couldn't do that. It would only benefit me if they would also come clean and cook for me while getting my rocks off. I will say that intimacy is hard when I feel like I'm giving all the time. So I know that's an issue too. I don't feel attracted to him when work is demanding, kids are demanding, pets are demanding, and then the second I sit down, I'm asked for a sexy outfit or to fulfill another kink. Oh, how I would love to go back to enjoying those experiences we once had together. But nowadays, I can barely muster the energy for the vanilla stuff, let alone anything with frills. Yeah, TMI. At this point, I'm far past my bedtime. So basically, I am taking a culmination of advice, but also still being a fool because I haven't filed. I did leave the husband a note before I left explaining the 2-card option. Get help or get out. I'm also going to stop complaining because it's not working, but actions may make a difference. I still have time left at the conference, so we will see the state of the house upon return. So far, no guilt trips to come home early or other BS messages, just supportive ones, and possibly love bombing occurring. So I'm trying to stay clear mentally and identify those toxic traits and call him out on them. Hopefully, we can work on identifying mine, and he can call me out. I know I didn't list my faults. Can you blame me? But I'm not perfect and know I have lots of growth to do in many areas of my life. I feel like I am actively working on it, hopefully in the right ways, and with a good counselor, they can help as well. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Right. Everyone leaves you because you don't contribute to the relationship. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Go to your work event. Focus on the event. When you get home, stop taking care of him like he is one of the kids. Depressed? Go to the doctor or get some therapy. Hungry? Make it yourself. Own your own part of enabling his behavior and change. It's the only thing you can control. See if anything changes, and if not, make your decisions. Sometimes it's easier to be on your own because you aren't hoping for or expecting help from someone else and being repeatedly disappointed. Comment 2. Not the idiot. You definitely are not the jerk, and maybe you leaving for 4 days will show him how much you do. I am an avid supporter of trying to make things work and do your absolute best before divorcing. But if you have broached the topic before and only been met with disappointment, then I don't believe it is your fault. I would wait and see if after the 4 days his behavior maybe changes and he becomes a bit more understanding. You could also try and match his energy with housework and financial support and see if that would make him understand. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, back with an update after a whirlwind month that's been full of surprises and confrontations. I left my husband with our 3 kids while I attended a work conference, and let me tell you, it was an eye-opener in more ways than one. Before I dive into the juicy details, let me give you a bit of context. My husband and I both work in education, and we've been ambitious in our careers. Despite this, I've ended up doing the lion's share of everything at home. I've been feeling more like a single parent than a partner, and it's been wearing me down. So, the conference, it was exhausting, but it gave me a lot of time to think. I've been reflecting on how my husband spends his time at home, usually playing video games or watching sports while I'm juggling work, kids, and household chores. I've been struggling with depression and anxiety, and I've felt like I'm drowning in responsibilities. I've been considering counseling for us, and I've been thinking about divorce too. I've been feeling resentful, especially towards my stepson, who I care for but don't have much say in his life. It's been tough, but I've been trying to figure out how to address these issues. Now, for the update. When I got back from the conference, the house was a mess. It looked like a tornado had hit it. I was fuming, but I kept my cool. I had left my husband a note before I left, telling him he needed to get help or get out. I was serious about it, and I was ready to see if he'd taken it to heart. To my surprise, he had actually started seeing a therapist while I was away. He'd also taken some steps to clean up the house, though it was far from perfect. It was a start, and I was cautiously optimistic. We had a long talk when I got back. I told him about my feelings of resentment and how overwhelmed I've been. He actually listened, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like he was trying to understand. He admitted he'd been taking me for granted and promised to make more of an effort. We decided to try couples therapy, and we've had a few sessions so far. It's been tough, but it's also been helpful. We're learning to communicate better and to share the load at home. It's not perfect, but it's progress. I've also been seeing a therapist on my own, and it's been helping me deal with my depression and anxiety. I'm learning to set boundaries and to take care of myself. It's been hard, but I'm feeling stronger every day. As for the kids, they've been doing more chores around the house, and it's been a big help. My stepson has been more involved too, and I'm starting to feel like I have a voice in his life. It's been a relief, and I'm grateful for it. My husband ignores my calls and insults me, so when I find him helping his ex behind my back, I can't believe what I see on the receipt. I, 37-year-old female, have been with my spouse, 37-year-old male, for nearly 10 years. He has a habit of forgetting to charge his phone or leaving it on silent during the day, which makes it next to impossible to reach him. Recently, I started resorting to using the Alexa announcement option to reach him when I have no other means. You can add sounds like horns honking, trumpets blaring, etc. When I know he's sleeping during the day and there's a pressing issue that I need him for, I will add the sounds to get him to wake up. He has expressed previously that he hates when I do this and has asked me to stop, which I have, for the most part, unless I'm facing an emergency. Tuesday, for instance, He had forgotten to charge his phone, and I was on the brink of running out of gas. I work half an hour away, and our daughter needs to be picked up from daycare. I was worried about making it home on the $1.97 in change I was able to find in my van, let alone trying to grab our daughter from daycare and make it home. I tried calling him several times, but due to him not charging his phone, it was dead. I sent several messages through Alexa that he didn't reply to. I tried calling through Alexa multiple times, yet he never picked up. I tried sending announcements without the noises several times, and those too went ignored. So finally, after several hours of attempting to reach him, I fired off the noisy Alexa announcement. Car horns and trumpets followed by a message stating he needed to pick our daughter up, ending with more car honks and trumpets. I sent several of these because he was not answering the ones I was sending. I needed to ensure our daughter would be picked up in case I ran out of gas on the side of the road. I finally make it home to see my spouse and 7-year-old daughter sitting on the couch. I sit down as well, and my spouse immediately starts in on me, asking me why I set off the noisy announcements, to which I attempt to explain to him that I could not reach him and needed our daughter picked up because I was almost out of gas. He tells me I should have called the daycare to make sure she was picked up, or I should have just swung by the daycare on the way home to see if she was there, as it isn't far from our house. I attempt to explain to him that I was worried about making it home, and making an additional stop worried me, as I did not want to have our daughter in the car if I were to run out of gas. My spouse then called me an idiot and a fuming arard in front of our daughter for setting off the noisy Alexa announcement and for not calling the daycare or stopping by the daycare to see if she was there. I got up and went to our bedroom, which he has since called me childish for. So Reddit, please tell me, am I the idiot for setting off the Alexa announcement when I could not reach my spouse while I was running out of gas and our daughter needed to be picked up from daycare? Edited for typo. Edit again to add what I now believe to be important information. I didn't have the money to get more gas, as I didn't get paid until Wednesday, so simply getting more gas wasn't an option. He was supposed to cash at me gas money that morning, but he forgot, then fell asleep with a dead phone. I found $1.97 in change in my van to put in my tank to make it home on. This doesn't happen often. I'm the only one working right now, so there have been times I have needed him to wake up for appointments that one of our children needed to be taken to, or like in this case, our daughter needing to be picked up. The last time I used the announcement to wake him up was in December. When I have to resort to this, I am at the office working while he is at home sleeping, or with his phone dead or on silent. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You're married to a lazy individual. I'm sorry, but he needs to get a job, grow up, and act like an adult. He's at home doing nothing while you're resorting to using an app to manage your household tasks. Then he has the audacity to call you stupid while he can't even charge his phone when he has the time at home and your child is in daycare. Why aren't you angrier? He's completely useless, not even bothering to charge a phone. What exactly will you be missing if you get rid of this person? Comment 2. Why are you working while your husband sleeps all day? I would have served him divorce papers so quickly if a man ever talked to me that way. Please leave this immature man. Not only is he lazy and not providing for you and your family, but he's also sleeping all day and purposely ignoring your urgent calls to pick up his child from daycare while you're struggling? No way. It's time to cut your losses now. You shouldn't have to take care of 2 children. Not the idiot. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the comments on my last post. I really appreciated the support and advice. Well, it's been a week, and you won't believe what's happened since then. After the whole Alexa announcement fiasco, things went from bad to worse. My husband, let's call him Mike, has been increasingly distant since that day. He's been spending more time in his man cave, barely speaking to me or our daughter Lily. I thought he'd cool off after a day or two, but nope. So last Thursday, I came home early from work, hoping we could talk things out. I walked in to find Mike on a video call with his ex-girlfriend, Jenna. They were laughing and looking way too cozy for my liking. I've always known they kept in touch, but seeing them like that made my blood boil. I confronted him right there, and he had the nerve to tell me it was nothing, just catching up with an old friend. But here's the kicker. Jenna's been going through a rough patch, and Mike's been helping her out. Turns out he lent her a significant amount of money without telling me. Money that was supposed to go towards our family vacation fund. I was livid. We argued, and he accused me of being controlling and not trusting him. I reminded him that we're supposed to be a team, but he just stormed off. The next day, I was still fuming, and I needed to vent. I called my sister, who's always been my rock. She was shocked and told me that I deserved better. She also reminded me of the time, years ago, when Mike had forgotten our anniversary and how he'd promised to make it up to me, but never did. It was like a pattern with him, forgetting important things and then just brushing it off. Over the weekend, I tried to keep things normal for Lily's sake. We went to the park, baked cookies, and watched movies, but Mike was absent for most of it, claiming he had to catch up on some work. I knew he was avoiding me. On Monday, things took an even more dramatic turn. I received a call from Lily's school saying she hadn't been picked up. Panic set in. I called Mike, but again, his phone was dead. I had to leave work in a hurry, and when I got to the school, Lily was the last kid there, sitting with her teacher. She was trying to be brave, but I could see she was upset. When I finally got home with Lily, Mike was there, and he had the audacity to be angry with me for not reminding him about the pickup. I lost it. I told him that he was a parent too and needed to take responsibility. He just shrugged and went back to his computer. I've been sleeping in the guest room since then. I can't even look at him without feeling a mix of anger and disappointment. It's like he's checked out of our family. Yesterday, I had to take the car to the mechanic because it started making a strange noise. Guess what? It was due to running on fumes last week when I almost didn't make it home. The repair cost a pretty penny, money that we could have used for the gas Mike never sent me, or the vacation fund he dipped into for Jenna. And now, for the subtle twist of karma. Today, Mike's precious man cave flooded. A pipe burst, and all his gadgets, his TV and gaming console are ruined. He's been moping around, trying to salvage what he can. I can't help but think it's a bit of cosmic justice for how he's been acting. But the real jaw-dropper? While cleaning up the mess, I found a receipt for a necklace purchase made the day after our big fight. It wasn't for me or Lily. The date and the initials engraved on the necklace matched Jenna's birthday. I haven't confronted him about it yet, but I'm seething inside. I gave my girlfriend an iPhone for Christmas, but she gave it to her cousin, so I took it back and left. Her family's drama makes me doubt everything. I, 23-year-old male, have a girlfriend, 22-year-old female. I love my girlfriend more than anyone else, and I see us getting married and starting a happy family one day. It all started on Christmas of 2023, when my girlfriend invited me to celebrate Christmas with her family. I've only met my girlfriend's family once before, when she introduced me to them 5 months ago. My girlfriend is very family-oriented, and she has a big, chaotic family who all live under the same roof. She has been financially supporting them up until now. I am very happy because her family welcomed me with open arms on Christmas Eve. I brought a few gifts for her parents and siblings. However, I did not feel it was necessary to buy gifts for her cousins and other relatives who live in the same house. The gift exchange began, and as I expected, I only received a gift from my girlfriend since her family doesn't know me well. After opening my gift, I also gave my present to my girlfriend, which made everyone very excited since it was wrapped in an elegant-looking box. I know that my girlfriend has been having a hard time financially because of her big family. She has mentioned wanting to buy the new iPhone every time we pass the Apple Store. When she opened my gift and saw the latest iPhone that I bought for her, her eyes lit up. Everyone clapped with happiness as she hugged me and thanked me. While she was examining the phone, she looked around at her family and stood up. We all watched her as she walked over to her little cousin and placed my gift on the cousin's lap. I was extremely shocked and my heart sank. She then said to her cousin, "I know you have also been dreaming of having your first phone. For now, I don't think I need it as much as you do, so I want to give this to you. I think I can save up money to buy myself one someday." She said this with a smile on her face and looked at me as she walked back to her seat beside me. Everyone was so happy. I was speechless and felt disrespected as her boyfriend. I have never met anyone who gifted away something they received from their partner. The latest iPhone model is very expensive, and I saved up money just to make her happy. If I had known she was going to give it away to her little cousin, I would have bought a cheaper one. She then asked me if I was okay. I looked at her and said, "Are you serious? Did you really mean to give it to her? The phone that I bought for you?" Her smile faded, as did the smiles of everyone else in the house. At that moment, I couldn't control myself anymore. I started packing up my things and took the phone and box out of her little cousin's hands. Everyone gasped as I walked out the door. I knew that it was the end of our relationship because there was no way her family would ever accept me again after what I had done. She followed me outside and tapped on the windshield of my car to get my attention. I rolled down the window, expecting an explanation or an apology from her. Instead, I received a slap, and she kept calling me out for what I did, saying that I was very rude and immature to take away a gift from a little kid. I felt gaslighted during the argument, and I started feeling bad about what I had done. I simply told her that I was ending our relationship and drove away. I received many hurtful messages from her family, but I blocked all of them, except for my girlfriend, who hasn't contacted me since then. Am I the jerk? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. She should have given the cousin her old phone instead. I couldn't imagine looking at a gift and then passing it on to someone else right in front of the person who gave it to me in the first place. You've dodged a bullet. She obviously cares more about her family than your feelings. Comment 2. Not the idiot. What a terrible thing she did. You got a gift in seeing her true self before you married her. She has to deal with the issue with the kid. It was her fault. Now, for the update. Hey Reddit, back again with an update on the Christmas gift fiasco with my girlfriend and her family. It's been 3 days since the incident, and let me tell you, things have taken some chaotic turns. So, after I drove away that night, I was a mess of emotions. I felt betrayed by my girlfriend, who I thought knew how much effort I put into getting her that iPhone. I had to pick up extra shifts at work and even skipped out on upgrading my own phone just to see her smile. But then she just handed it off to her cousin like it was nothing. The next day, I was still fuming and trying to process everything when I got a text from her. She wanted to talk. I agreed, thinking maybe she'd realized how much she hurt me. We met up at our usual spot, the little park where we had our first date. It was there she dropped the news on me. Turns out her family's financial situation was worse than I thought. Her dad had lost his job a few months back, something she never mentioned because she didn't want to worry me. They were behind on bills, and her little cousin's family was about to lose their internet, which the kid needed for school. My girlfriend had been quietly selling some of her own stuff to help out, but it wasn't enough. She explained that she gave away the iPhone because she felt guilty accepting such an expensive gift when her family was struggling. She thought her cousin could use it more than she could. I was floored. I knew she was generous, but this was another level. But here's where it gets juicy. As we were talking, her brother showed up. He had followed her, thinking she was going to ask me for money. He started yelling at me, accusing me of not caring about their family and only thinking about myself. I tried to stay calm, but it was tough with him getting in my face. Then, out of nowhere, my girlfriend's mom calls. She's on speaker, and she's furious, not at me, but at my girlfriend. She had found out about the iPhone and was livid that my girlfriend had given it away without consulting the family. She said it could have been sold to help with the bills. My girlfriend broke down, admitting she didn't think it through and just wanted to do something nice for her cousin. The confrontation was intense. Her brother was still going off on me. Her mom was scolding her over the phone, and I was just standing there, feeling like I was in the middle of a storm. After her brother stormed off and her mom hung up, my girlfriend apologized to me. She said she understood if I wanted to break up, but she hoped we could work through it. I didn't know what to say. I was still hurt, but I also felt bad for her and her family's situation. I told her I needed time to think. We left things unresolved, and I walked away with my head spinning. I haven't decided what to do about our relationship yet. It's a lot to take in, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything that's happened. Her family hasn't reached out to me since, except for her little cousin. He sent me a message apologizing for accepting the iPhone and saying he didn't know it would cause such a problem. I didn't know what to say to him either. It's not his fault after all. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.